The Bible says, thou shalt not lie. But God then gives us permission to do so. You's a liar!
Lie about the passages. But that's what you have with Keion Henderson. And he's done this before, twisting passages and saying all kind of ridiculous things. But even when we caught him and found out that the man was even lying about God giving him this vision to, what was it, the asking people for money for his church donations and things like that to build his building. I won't rehash that, but I want to look at this. This is something that's common. What we're going to look at is common amongst a lot of different churches and preachers who are trying to say nothing but good things to people to kind of energize them. Just use the word of God. And I want to start off by just playing clips of him. He was at Dewey, I think it's Dewey E. Smith or Dewey Smith's church, who certainly don't recommend him either. But this particular person, this particular man, Keion, just notice how he just lies in small areas to create a false narrative.
So Becca says something paradoxical. He said, watch what he says. He says, I am waiting to see what God said.
Now let's pause for a second. Let's go to Habakkuk. So in Habakkuk 2:1, he says, I will stand on my guard post and station myself on the rampart, and I will keep watch to see what he will speak to me and how I may reply when I am reproved. Then the Lord answered me and said, record the vision, or some verses write the vision and inscribe it on the tablets, or make it plain, that the ones who read it may run. For the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hastens towards its goal and will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it will certainly come. It will not delay. So now I want to read all of that because that's where he's at. And he's trying to speak to the people about things that aren't happening the way they're to happen, the way you think, different delays, or as he says, these pauses, different mishaps that might happen in your life. That's where he is. And he's going to take and twist this in the way that the scripture is not meaning to be twisted.
Now, I graduated in the middle of my class. Yeah, anybody like me? It's amazing how people all be lying. I was an A student. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. We just can't prove it.
Now he's being a little humble, honest here about the fact that he did not graduate at the head of his class. He's maybe not the brightest. We're going to find out that he's not lying. We're going to find out that he's not lying here at all, because how he takes a text, yeah, it's pretty bad.
I wasn't no A student. My best grade in math was a C, and I went home so proud. Anybody? I stopped at algebra 1. I didn't do 2, but I'm not that smart. But I do know that you can't see words. Listen, I didn't graduate no loudy. I graduated oh lordy. I mean, I didn't do none of that. But I do know he said, I'm going to stand still until I see what God said. That's a paradox. You don't see words, you hear words.
But that's not Habakkuk's point. I mean, he said, I will stand on my guard post and station myself, and I will keep watch to see what he will speak to me. That's not saying that he's looking for some words. That's not his point, but I'm not going to make too big a point of that, but you can already see where we're going, and it's going to take a bad turn.
But watch what God says. He says, you're thinking too deep. Watch this. Here's your response to what I said. Write the vision. Make it plain. For the vision awaits for an appointed time. If it seems slow, wait for it. The phrase appointed time is the Hebrew word, which means divinely scheduled moment, set, fixed, and intentional. In other words, the pause doesn't mean that heaven is late. It means that the pause was already factored into the timetable. You missed.
Let's pause for a second. Now, again, this is where this is where my antennas go up, because you're building into meanings of the word that just simply aren't there. And so he says, the Lord answered me and said, record the vision and inscribe it, the one who reads it, that the one who reads may run. For the vision is yet for the appointed time. And he gives really an unnecessary addition to the definition. Just means a time that's appointed, a time where it is appointed to show up. Why that's a big deal? Because he's going to make it bigger than what he is. When you take these words and you read more into it, because he says, no, Habakkuk, don't think too deep on this. Habakkuk wasn't thinking too deep at all. He's like, I'm okay. Now let me just wait and see what the Lord is trying to say to me. We say that all the time. We're not reading deeply into that. Neither is he, but you'll see where he's going with this.
Missing what I'm saying. You see, you got to understand everything that you're going through, God already factored it into your destination. So the divorce wasn't a distraction, it was already factored in. Yeah, the bankruptcy, that didn't just happen, it was already factored in.
So, and part of the issue, or part of what he's saying, is that things happen that God factor that in. Well, no, God can use those things or working around those things, but some of those things, it's not as though God is saying, hey, yeah, I want to put this here, No, those are sometimes, in many cases, faults of our own. But again, I understand you want to dress this up and make the crowd feel good for either their sin or their bad decisions, because God is still going to bless you.
Everything that you've gone through was already factored in. Can you tell somebody you are not late? It's just a pause. Not only is the pause pregnant.
No, it might not be a pause. It might be punishment. You're not late. It's just a pause. No, you might be late because of a punishment. That would be like me saying, hey, I went to prison, but that was just a pause. And God factored that in. No, that was a punishment. You do something wrong and God punishes it. It doesn't mean he throws you away. You can still work around that. But the purpose of the punishment is to learn from the punishment, not to do what you did that caused this, as he says, pause or this punishment.
Because what he says is, the just shall live by faith. In the Hebrew, it means, watch this, durability. So when we say the just shall live by faith, in the Hebrew, it is saying the durable.
Now, people, my God, Lord have mercy, they're cheering because they thought they heard something deep. How about you pick up a Bible and read for yourself? Now, the word that he says, the just shall live by faith, and the word for just is the Hebrew word that means durability. Have you ever heard that before? Likely you've never heard that before, because that's not the meaning. And let's just go ahead and prove the point. So this is in Habakkuk 2:4. And this is the problem that I have. Don't lie on the scripture. Stop making up stuff. Behold, as for the proud one, his soul is not right within him. But the righteous or the just will live by faith. This word in the Hebrew and the Greek means the same thing. This word tzaddik is the word for righteous. But he says this word here that's highlighted, the word tzaddik, also means the what? What was the word that he used?
In the Hebrew, it means, watch this, durability. So when we say the just shall live by faith, in the Hebrew, it is saying the durable. You's a liar.
Yeah, you're lying. You've made that up. How do we know? The righteous, the just, in the Hebrew, the word tzaddik means durable. Well, let's just go ahead, because you might not agree with me. You don't have to. As a matter of fact, the good part is you don't have to take my word for it. We can consult some Hebrew lexicons. So let's pull up a couple Hebrew lexicons. Let's go to the Hela, which is the Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament. And there's the word tzaddik. It means, as you scroll down, you've got the different citations of a thing which is examined and found to be in order. Judicial persons whose conduct will be checked out and found irreproachable, innocent, right, of morally and right, innocent, social justice in respect to community, in a religious sense, just and upright. That's the Hebrew Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament. Let's go to the BDB. This used to be the Cadillac or the standard for Hebrew lexicons. And the same word tzaddik, it means just, righteous in government, of Davidic king, of judges, of laws, and so forth, just in one's cause or right, just, righteous in conduct and character, ethically righteous, as justified and vindicated by right, correct. Or let's go to the concise dictionary of the Hebrew, classic Hebrew dictionary, classical Hebrew lexicon, and let's look up the same word. Here it is, of a human being, righteous, just, keeping commandments, not involved in idolatry, sexually immoral, unjust, innocent, blameless, not guilty of a specific offense, right, unjust, right, in the right, correct, right, righteous, in the right, just, right, victorious, innocent ones. Yeah, I don't see that one. I don't see the word that, what was the word that you used again?
In the Hebrew, it means, watch this, durability. So when we say the just shall live by faith, in the Hebrew, it is saying the durable. You's a liar.
Yeah. So again, why are you making up things? Why are you making up things? I know why. Because if the word says that the righteous shall live by faith and you yourself aren't righteous or just, then you don't include yourself and these people who've gotten themselves in trouble by not living rightly or justly, then you want this to also apply to them. So let's change the meaning of the word so that it also includes those who might be living by sin or in sin, that no, the just, the righteous people will live by faith. If you're not living by faith, according to faith, then guess what? You're not. That's a problem for his preaching.
Shall live by faith. Are you with me? Watch what James says. He says, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Let patience have a perfect work that you might nothing. It's watch what then he says, watch what he says, hupomene. This word, it means the strength to stay where God has placed you. Listen, even when the weight makes leaving logical. You's a liar.
Again, stop making up things and adding things to the definitions of words. Let's read James 1. He says, James 1, consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Now, the word that he uses here is hupomene, which is, it just means to endure, staying. All the added things when it doesn't make sense or not like that, that's not what it is. You're just adding words just for the sake of getting your bogus, unbiblical, ungodly message across. Just stick to the text. By the way, Paul says in 1 Corinthians 4:6, go check it out. I want you to learn how to not exceed what is written. Don't exceed what is written. You know what? I'd be wrong. I would be wrong in not putting it up. So let me just put it on the screen for you as well. 1 Corinthians 4:6 says, now these things, brethren, I have figuratively applied to myself, Apollos, for your sake, so that in us you may learn not to exceed what is written, so that none of you will become arrogant in behalf of one against another. Don't exceed what's written. Just say what the text says.
God says, it is logical for you to leave. It's logical for you to quit. But this ain't going.
That's not, and God doesn't say that. He doesn't say it's logical for you to leave. It's logical for you to quit. As a matter of fact, it's illogical for you to leave. Based upon me being the one telling you I'm God, do what I said, live how I said to live. It's not logical, but you got to get your point across some sort of way, even if you got to lie about it.
Cool. This is going to the patient. You don't have any idea. You have no idea what God is about to birth. You have no idea what He's about to do. You have no idea what God has cooked up. You have no idea what He has planned. But if you're frustrated by the silence, angry because He's not speaking, not recognize that all God has to do is say, let there be.
See, if you really want to preach a message and be biblical, because there are some things that He is saying that is true, but the enemy will often cook up a mixture, a brew, where he takes the truth and a lie and mix them together, where he twists words and distort things just to get his point across. You could tell people, listen, while things aren't happening the way you want them to, you're frustrated, just trust the Lord. And you need to let people know that sometimes things won't work out the way that you want them to work out. They will always work out the way God wants them to work out. And for your betterment, you can preach that. As a matter of fact, as they say, that'll preach. But lying to people, and so when the good that you're promising them that's going to happen doesn't happen, who gets the blame? You're already out of town. You preached there and you went back to home base. But the people that are there, they're left in shambles because their faith begins to be wrecked a little bit because, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm believing right. What's wrong with me? Am I under curse? What happens? Or also, God takes the blame. Well, God doesn't love me, and so I might as well go ahead and go after something else. Stop lying to people.
Matter of fact, I don't know who this is for. Can I prophesy? You're 3 words away. Just touch somebody and say 3 words away. God's got 3 words that are coming that's going to change.
I got 3 words for you, sir.
Use a liar.
Yep. Use a liar. The 3 words.
Use a liar.
Now let's hear your 3 words for them.
Life. I don't know what those 3 words are. Maybe they are. I am rich. I don't know. Some of y'all are quiet. I want you to get 3
It has
words.
to be something good, huh? I am rich. Okay. Okay. How about you tell yourself, I am wicked. I am evil. How about this one again?
You's a liar.
Stop